Oh shit, I failed the NAVLE.
Today fucking sucks. We got our NAVLE results back, and of course, like, I always feel like the fucking underdog. And yeah, so I failed. I don't know, it's stupid to make this video, but like, maybe if I have the courage one day to post it, it'll help someone else that feels like this too. But yeah, I don't know. You can have so many people tell you that. This doesn't like indicate what kind of doctor you are and stuff, but it just sucks when it just sucks. Yeah, I waited to open it until I was at home. I'm glad I did, because that would be embarrassing, but I don't know. I don't know. I guess we're doing it again in April. I literally just called my boss and told him I failed the NAVLE. It just sucks when everyone believes in you and is like, you're gonna pass, you're gonna pass, you're gonna pass, and then you don't. I just feel like I let so many people down.
So definitely teared up watching those videos again, because I didn't even really like, I remembered making them, but and I didn't ever intend to use them, because I was like, I think I'm just gonna keep this to myself. I don't have to share everything with everyone. But you know, once again, I just felt so lost and lonely, and I felt defeated and like a failure. And you know, I had people on my side, and I told people like close, like around me, and like, I mean, close to me. And one person who's always been there, who I'm not gonna name the person because it's not my story to tell, like their story, but they're always someone I would looked up to, and I told them immediately, and they shared a story with me. Like, once again, that was just so similar to mine, and like suddenly like just didn't feel alone anymore. I probably shouldn't have watched those videos like right before I filmed this portion of this video, because like it like makes me feel sad, because it was really sad and it sucked. But yeah, that's why I was like, I have to make this video, because yesterday I found out I passed. So I can breathe a sigh of relief and know that everything worked out. And I'm making this video so I can not only help other future Christies that are going to be in the spot, because honestly, this exam is so dumb, and there are going to be people that fail, and I am so sorry in advance. And I really hope it's like no one does, but the reality is people do. But also I wanted to make this video to tell those who just haven't taken the NAVLE yet what not to do before taking the NAVLE. So when I reflect back on my experience and like why I failed and all this, like I have a good solid feelings and like reasonings on why I did. And so that's what this video is going to talk about. And then I'm just gonna give a couple like steps and tips or whatever, advice, whatever you want to call it, on what I think you should do to avoid failing the NAVLE. So this video is gonna be all about that, but I am gonna make a follow-up video about how to study, because the things I did to study from exam 1 to 2 are completely different. So let's get into it. All right, so my first piece of advice, this is number 1, and I believe this is the most important one, is mindset. Like, mindset is everything with this exam. I'm not kidding you. I truly believe like 60% of the NAVLE is just all a mind game. And if you can prepare yourself to conquer that part and be strong in that part, I truly do think you'll be fine. It's obviously easier said than done. People have said some things like this to me, and I always just wanted to flip them off, but it's really true. So like my thoughts about this is, I'm not going to get into it too far, but basically before taking the NAVLE, there was talk, and I was told that, you know, if I had a certain GPA, then I was going to struggle and fail the NAVLE, so I needed to study harder. And I understand, I get like the statistics behind that, but even if it is true, which obviously like it is true, but not for everyone. But like telling a group of people that is just very defeating and painful. And like from that moment, I was like, well, I'm already gonna fail, so I might as well just take it and see what happens. You know, I was like, gosh, it's gonna be expensive pre-test. So my mindset was just shit from there on. I was just like, my GPA is very low, or I guess very low in bad school standards. It's very low, so I'm gonna fail the NAVLE. So like, why, like, you know, pour my heart and soul to studying the first time if I'm just gonna have to take it the second time? I understand now that that was really bad logic and bad thinking. But I think it's important to note that like, don't go into this exam like having negative self-talk. Don't do it. It's going to be detrimental, and I promise you it will. Because those thoughts roll over into how you're thinking right before the exam, during the exam, like etc. I remember specifically taking this exam and going through the questions and being like, this sounds familiar, I'm just gonna pick this. I mean, it doesn't really matter because it's my pre-test anyways. And like, that's 100% what you should not do. I'm telling you, don't do that. And then another thing is like, stop the negative self-talk and self-deprecating comments when you're just like thinking to yourself or talking to others. Like I remember going to like a conference and then everyone was like, oh, you're taking the NAVLE soon, good luck. And I just, all I said was like, oh, I'm definitely gonna fail. I'm definitely gonna fail. Like, yeah, if you speak into the universe, you're gonna fail, Christy. I effing failed. So speak into the universe positive thoughts. Tell yourself, Christy, I'm gonna pass. I'm gonna pass. And I'm not kidding. I literally, after I failed the first time, which since I told myself I was gonna fail, I don't know why it was such a shock. I wrote every day in my planner, I will pass, I will pass, I will pass. This is cheesy, but I would look in the mirror and say, I will fucking pass. So just tell yourself you're gonna pass. Like, just do it. Tell yourself so many times until you actually believe it. So that's my biggest advice, is just try to create a positive mindset, because that is gonna take you a long way. And my second piece of advice, this is going to be more applicable to anyone who's not currently starting clinics now, as in like, what are we in, June of 2020? So like the new fourth years who I know are online because of COVID right now, or just starting to get into clinics. This won't apply to you because you already have your schedule made. But I also think something that kind of set me back a little bit and did not help me out was my experience and my rotation lineup. And I kind of have a unique situation because I had a lot of off-campus blocks, and I'm so grateful for that to this day because they were so awesome. And so in the beginning of clinics, I was like abroad, like in Africa, doing, you know, public health and wildlife conservation. And then right after I had like my externships and vacation. So I literally was off campus right up until the NAVLE. So I think I had 2 rotations or 2.5 rotations in the hospital right before taking my NAVLE. And for me, it speaks volumes, because all those off-campus or experiences I had were related to, like I said, public health, wildlife, and really there's just not really anything like that on the NAVLE, or at least mine. Or maybe there was and I just blocked it out probably. But yeah, that wasn't like, there isn't enough material on the NAVLE that relates to those things that could have even pulled me through. And I'm such a hands-on learner, and like I learned from my mistakes. I learned from like listening to others. I learned from like having actual patients in front of me. So that I think definitely hurt me. So for those who are going to go into clinics next year, I would definitely recommend trying to be on campus in the beginning of clinics and right before the NAVLE, or just making sure like you're really being like diligent on like those medicine classes or like courses, because those are really like help on the NAVLE, just having those like small animal medicine, large animal medicine, I don't know. So that's kind of something, if I could go back in time, which I'm glad I can't, but if I could, I would probably have switched my like off-campus rotations around, and then had taken like medicine courses in the beginning, and like surgery courses and stuff that like would really help me like concept-wise on the NAVLE. So that's number 2. All right, tip number 3 is studying strategies. Like, I think having like the mindset on top of my rotation schedule and just being abroad and all this, like I just didn't develop the best study strategies and discipline. So I really didn't, this This is so terrible. I'm saying this out loud. I really didn't follow a study schedule very thoroughly and consistently. Those are the words I was going to say. Like, I had a study schedule. I used like the vet prep calendar to like be like, okay, I'm going to do this and this and this day. And you know, life just happens and you get behind and you're like, oh God, like I need to start over, or like you just throw it away. I don't know what you do, but the moral of the story is like I just didn't stick to like an actual discipline like schedule. And then once I got back to the clinics at school, it was even like more hard because just the rotations, and I'd be there so late at night and stuff like that. So it was just a little bit overwhelming. And I actually, when I was studying for the NAVLE, I solely relied on the prep material that I had invested in. So I never really used like class notes to look back on. I did use Merck Manual a lot, but I didn't use it as I should have. I just, you know, solely was looking at the prep course material and just really doing practice questions. And why that doesn't work is because when you're just doing practice questions over and over again, you start memorizing the answers. And so I would be like, oh, I know this question, I know this answer. And so then in my head, I'd take that as, oh, I do understand this concept, when really I did not understand the concept. I was just getting the answers right because I saw the question a couple times and memorized it. So I would suggest that before you do like practice questions and stuff like that, you're looking over material in your own notes from the first 3 years of vet school and like clinics. The prep material is great, but it's like a tool to aid you in your studying. It's not your sole tool. And that's what I would love to reiterate to you guys. Don't rely on only that, because that is what I did. And I didn't even really utilize a lot of their lectures and like pages and stuff like I should have. Like, if anything, I should have really focused on that and then just did questions, but I really was just relying on the questions. So that was a really, really poor strategy. So don't do that, okay? And then just so I don't go into too heavily about this tip, because I'm gonna make a whole nother video to show you what I did differently from exam 1 to exam 2, because there are a lot of other things. Yeah, I'm just gonna leave it at that. Don't just rely on the prep material if you invest in any, because you really should be looking at your clinic notes, your your vet school notes of years 1 through 3, stuff like that. So don't do what I did. And so just to recap, like I said, one, mindset is literally everything in this exam. Like, if you can just go into the exam believing in yourself, even if you kind of don't, like, just literally convince yourself up until that test day that you do and that you're gonna pass. Just literally say you're gonna pass every day. Write it around, like write it all over. Tell your friends you're gonna pass, even though they'll think you're conceited and arrogant. I don't know. Just make yourself really believe you're gonna pass, because you will. I promise. And then, you know, if you have any control or opportunity to make sure that you're having some good core rotations before the NAVLE, I really do think that helps, especially if you're a hands-on learner like myself. If you do just fine, like reading and like retaining material that way, which I wish I did, you'll probably be just fine. And then 3, just having like good study strategies and starting that early on. And well, not too early, but starting that early on and just trying to stick to that will really help. And again, like I said, I'm gonna make a whole nother video to show you what I did differently from the 2 exams. And it's gonna be really helpful because I passed the second exam nearly by 100 points. So that seems crazy, and it is, but like I worked my ass off and I changed my study skills and my mindset, and it showed. So that's gonna be important. And then lastly, I do want to say, if any of the people who I did talk to about this before making this public, I just want to say thank you for your support. It like means so much to me. You don't even know, like the last 2 years of vet school have been insane in good ways, but a lot of bad ways too. And I just really have had so much imposter syndrome. So you guys just like supporting me and texting me and sending me videos on congratulations, which I'll show you guys. It's so nice. I really, really am so grateful for you guys. And to the future NAVLE takers, once you guys get your results back, and if some of it doesn't go as planned for you, come back to this video and just realize you're not alone. I have your back. Literally DM me on Instagram, email me, get a hold of me somehow. We will talk it out and I will help you, because no one should have to feel like this. It's very hard and it's just not easy. And if you haven't been through it, you don't understand. So that also reminds me of one point I did forget to say, is that goes along with support, is I joined this Facebook group for people who had to retake the NAVLE, and I had seen someone that graduated the year before me repost about it from her friend. And it's funny because like I knew her friend because he was a very, very strong leader in SAVMA. When I was a first year, he was like the SAVMA president, like national president, I believe, or something really cool like that. I can't remember. But I always looked up to him, even as a first year vet student. And when I saw that he shared his story about failing the NAVLE, I was like, oh my God, he's so smart, so awesome. Like, it really made me feel better too. And so I got to join this Facebook community, and we all were there to support each other. And in light of all the COVID stuff, this time has been even worse. And I had my exam rescheduled multiple times, but it really broke my heart, like in that group, seeing how many people were less than 24 hours away from taking their exam and it got canceled and they had traveled 10 hours and it just stuff like that. And we were all there to support each other. So I want to say thank you to everyone in that group. And again, anyone who later finds out they have failed the NAVLE, like get into contact with me and I'll like get you in contact with that group so you can be added, because it really helps to just have a team behind you who knows how it feels. And I just want to say thank you again to everyone that really supported me. It means so much. And it's hard for me to post this video because we always hope people don't think differently of us, but at the end of the day, I always say others' negative opinions about me it's none of my business. So I hope this helps. Subscribe, give it a thumbs up, follow me on Instagram. Let's talk, let's connect. So yeah, stay tuned for the next video on how to actually effectively study for the NAVLE.
Hey Dr. Christy, this is Miss Izzy Bean and we would like to congratulate you on your NAVLE results, and we are just so proud of you, and we cannot wait to welcome you to the beautiful city of Chicago. So can't wait to see you soon.